Thursday at 8 on Fox 5.
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
From WNYW Fox Channel 5 in New York, this is the 10 o'clock news with John Rowland and Cora Ann Mahalik.
Good evening. You might wonder what Michael Milken will be giving thanks for when the former junk bond king sits down with his family tomorrow for Thanksgiving. One thing will be that he can be with them. Doesn't have to report to jail right away. The judge let him wait till early next year. She sentenced him today, and he cried like a baby in front of her. Christopher Jones reports.
When Michael Milken arrived at federal court this morning, he appeared to be in control of his emotions. Milken's composure was not to last long as he began his day of reckoning, a day that would be filled with tears and apologies and end with the most severe sentence in the recent history of corruption in the financial affairs of Wall Street. Milken's lawyer, Arthur Lyman, spent the first hour of the sentencing proceeding detailing the positive aspects of the 44-year-old financier's life. When attorney Lyman described Milken's efforts on behalf of a brain-damaged child, the disgraced financier sobbed uncontrollably. From that point on, Milken wept from time to time while his wife looked on, but did not herself shed tears. District Judge Kimba Wood asked Milken if he had anything to say for himself. Milken stood and told the judge through his tears he had violated not only the law, but his own principles and values. "I will regret it for the rest of my life," he said. "I am truly sorry." He then sat down and listened as Judge Wood told him she had to send a message to others in the financial community that criminal activity will not be tolerated. Then she sentenced the fallen financier to 5 consecutive 2-year terms for a total of 10 years in jail, plus 3 years of probation that will include 1,800 hours of community service a year.
What I saw inside was a situation where an individual who pled guilty to 6 specific crimes was sentenced based upon who he was and based upon crimes to which he didn't plead guilty to.
I represent state pension funds who have lost a considerable amount of money, and I would hope that most of Milken's ill-gotten gains will have to be returned to the people from whom he has taken them.
Milken will be eligible for parole in 3 1/3 years. This was a stiff sentence, in fact far harsher than most legal experts had predicted, but the door has been left open for a reduction in sentence should Michael Milken decide now to cooperate with the government. The judge said she did not wish to render a verdict on what she called the greed of the decade of the 80s. But it's hard to look at this case and think she hasn't done exactly that. Christopher Jones, Fox News, Channel 5.
When it comes to John Gotti, they are just counting the days. We are days away from the indictment of the reputed Godfather. But some mobsters are also counting the days till they get a chance at mob-style justice. Pablo Guzman has this exclusive report.
Channel 5 News has learned that the long-expected indictment against John Gotti and his top associates will be returned by the end of the month. It will cover a broad range of alleged racketeering activities, including several murder charges, number one being the December 1985 pre-Christmas slaying of Paul Castellano outside Spark Steakhouse in Midtown Manhattan. The killing of Castellano and top aide Tommy Bellotti reportedly cleared the way for the Gotti crew to take over the Gambino crime family. This reenactment from America's Most Wanted is so authentic it has been requested by law enforcement and attorneys for organized crime figures. We first broke the story about the indictment against Gotti back in February. Since that time, there's been a great deal of bickering among prosecutors as to who has jurisdiction over what. That all got settled about 2 weeks ago in Washington, with the FBI emerging as a key player in the discussions. One FBI agent in particular is set to hold several aces.
John Gotti's a former hijacker who happened to be at the right place at the right time.
Jules Bonavolanta heads the FBI's Organized Crime Bureau in New York. The announcement of Gotti's indictment will take place before Bonavolanta retires this month, a tribute to his skills from the team that will prosecute Gotti. Channel 5 News has learned that the new weapons against Gotti include civilian witnesses who saw the Castellano shooting, at least one of whom came forth after this segment of America's Most Wanted was aired, and at least one FBI undercover agent who will surface after years of penetrating the mob.
10 of his major capos today are either in jail, waiting to be sentenced, or to stand trial in less than 2 months. We're about to isolate John Gotti to the point where he's going to be left with his 2 bodyguards, Iggy Alagna and Dom Pizzonia, who really combined have an IQ of 20.
There is a possibility that John Gotti will not go to trial, and not because of any mistakes on the part of prosecutors. Channel 5 News has learned there is an organized crime faction that wants to assassinate Gotti before the trial. I'm Pablo Guzman, Fox News, Channel 5.
Well, there was a lot of yelling at the Central Park rape trial. The defense called the boyfriend of the woman jogger, the lady who was so viciously attacked in the park. One of the lawyers for the accused, Colin Moore, tried to imply the boyfriend should be a suspect. The judge cut him off. Moore represents Kerry Wise. He called his mother to the stand. She got into a shouting match with the prosecutor, shouted that Jesus would get even with her. The judge threw her out of the courtroom and threw out her testimony.
About 150 new prison guards made the grade and got pink slips, all in the very same day. Right after they graduated the State Correctional Academy today, they found out they were being laid off the day after Christmas. Governor Cuomo is planning to fire 2,000 state workers to help close the state's billion-dollar budget gap. And two top New York lawmakers are throwing their support behind the governor's budget-cutting plan. Assembly Speaker Mel Miller and Senate Majority Leader Ralph Marino met with the governor. They agreed to have the state legislature vote on the proposed budget cuts in 2 weeks. Mr. Cuomo wants to cut spending instead of raising taxes.
And on top of state and local spending cuts, the City Board of Education may have to chop almost $350 million from its budget. So now the board is thinking about selling 7 of its buildings to raise some cash. That includes their headquarters on Livingston Street in Brooklyn. Also on the list, the $1 million brownstone the chancellor lives in Brooklyn Heights. Joseph Fernandez says it's for the good of the school system.
I think everyone in the city should feel positive about the fact that the board and the chancellor are looking at everything before we look at the classroom. We've been sending that message from day one since we've been hit with these budget cuts, that the classroom is the last place we want to hit.
Up to 4,000 teachers may also get laid off.
There is something special about Getaway Day on Thanksgiving weekend. You can see it in the faces of New Yorkers who are trying frantically to get out of town. There they were, crowded into planes, trains, and automobiles. Lynn Brown reports.
Bumper to bumper, back to back, horn to horn, any way you want to put it, and by any means possible, they are leaving the city, heading out to visit family and loved ones for the Thanksgiving holiday.
Are you ladies going away for the holidays? I'm going to Mount Pocono to visit my daughter-in-law, my grandchildren, my son.
Going to see my folks.
For some, it is a ritual.
It's the worst day of the year to travel, but every single year I'm here. No trains, no planes to where I live, just buses.
For others, it is the newfound thing to do.
I'm a Nigerian lawyer in America for business, but when I arrive, I discover you're on holiday, so I'm also too on holidays.
We're heading to Albany.
And who are you going to visit there?
My brother and sister-in-law and their family. Maybe we'll talk to the governor. Maybe we'll get him to take the taxes down. I don't know.
Tens of thousands of people just like these packed the Port Authority building, many of them dragging kid and kid leather.
We're going to Lancaster, Pennsylvania to visit my friends and my dad.
It was your usual chaos and confusion. At Grand Central Station, things didn't appear to be quite as rushed, not to get out of town for the holiday anyway. And for those who remain, getting in and around the city, well, it's called 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Most people took mass transit, and things went pretty well. The ghost of gridlock past tells us that we're in for more trouble, though, from now through the holiday season. So we hope New Yorkers will take mass transit, use express buses, try everything but use their cars.
For everyone, either getting out of the city for the holiday or coming in, have a happy Thanksgiving and a good Thanksgiving Eve. Lynn Brown, Fox News, Channel 5.
And still ahead on the 10 o'clock news, President Bush is in Saudi Arabia. He'll spend Thanksgiving with our troops.
Jackie Mason is in no joking mood when it comes to this new ad with his love child, and it's no contest. We'll tell you why a Miss Texas pageant official is out of the running.
And the big blow-up for the night before the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
There I am crunching numbers when I start dreaming. The Adirondacks, me in an all-new Nissan Sentra. Great one. And what performance. Wait, what about a Stanza? Plenty of power with that 2.4-liter engine. Then a Maxima with 160 horses under the hood. No wonder they call it the four-door sports car. And finally, a four-door Pathfinder. Because I don't know about you, but I'm getting awfully tired going around this mountain.
See your Nissan dealer now for the car of your dreams and the deal to match.
My name is Ona
Fowler. I was born in the year 1906. I live here alone, and this is where I hope to stay. It's my home. Thank you very much.
A sale so big, it has to be held at the Meadowlands Convention Center, Friday through Sunday. Burlington Coat Factory comes to the Meadowlands Convention Center with 10,000 famous maker coats for ladies and men, 1,800 fine furs, thousands of leathers, and 5,000 men's famous maker suits, all 30 to 66% off, Friday and Saturday till 9, Sunday till 6. Burlington's Coat, Leather, and Fur Sale, Meadowlands Convention Center, Harmon Meadow, Secaucus, next to the theaters off Route 3.
This portion of the news brought to you by Dodge. Visit your Tri-State Dodge dealer where it's Advantage Dodge.
Presenting the 1991 Dodge Spirit. It has a standard driver's airbag, 14 cubic feet of trunk space, available V6 power, and more interior room than Honda Accord. Yet a 91 Dodge Spirit can be yours, starting as low as $10,890 after cashback. And now, qualified dealers are getting as much as $1,000 cashback from the factory on Spirits. And that means you could get as much as $1,500 total savings. Welcome home to Spirit at your Dodge dealer.
Well, President Bush is ready to have Thanksgiving dinner in the Persian Gulf. But our State Department says other Americans should think twice about that with any hostages in Iraq. It says one family was detained, although other relatives back in Boston deny that. Patrick McGrath reports from Washington.
President and Mrs. Bush were welcomed to Saudi Arabia by a grateful King Fahd. The president's swift decision to send U.S. troops to Saudi Arabia ensured that Iraq's military invasion would not extend beyond Kuwait. The president also met with the exiled emir of Kuwait.
I come away from this conversation more committed than ever to seeing this cruel occupation come to an end and those responsible for this violence called to account.
On his way home, President Bush will meet with another Middle East leader, Syria's President Hafez Assad. Syria is still on the U.S. list of countries who support terrorism, but Syria is also supporting the UN effort against Iraq.
He is a coalition partner. He's in the process of moving substantial force here. We've worked to help others build a big, strong coalition, and I will be talking to him about our common objectives in the Gulf.
President Bush had a final meeting with coalition partners in Paris earlier in the day. The president had lobbied hard for support of a UN resolution to authorize military force against Iraq if it does not pull out of Kuwait by a certain date. Soviet President Mikhail Gorbachev declined to publicly support it, but did call for a UN discussion of it. The president will spend Thanksgiving Day visiting the U.S. troops deployed in Saudi Arabia.
We thank them, and we thank God for the blessings that we have, and that we are going to prevail. They're not there on a mission impossible.
Patrick McGrath, Fox News, Channel 5.
And hundreds of New Yorkers are not thinking of their holiday, but what they may face in the Saudi desert. They've been called to active duty. Jeff Weiser reports.
By midday, almost every member of the 140th Field Service Company was present and accounted for, lined up in formation at Fort Totten, Queens. But this was different than all the other times they'd gotten together for training. This is the real thing.
Blackwell, Council, Nicole.
These reservists, along with several other units in the New York, New Jersey area, have just been called to active duty for possible deployment to the Persian Gulf. The troops were called out on short notice, and as a result, 4 members of the company decided to get married before they shipped out, including 29-year-old Private Victor Pinnell of Brooklyn. He married his sweetheart this week in a big church in Mount Vernon, New York.
So I decided the best thing to do is to give my wife a gift. And I give her the best gift of all, the gift of marriage. That's a lifetime gift.
These troops provide support for soldiers in the field by performing all sorts of tasks, such as sewing, laundry, and baking. 19-year-old Danelle Gonzalez of Manhattan, who works at a funeral home, hopes he won't have to practice his military specialty, grave registration.
Well, I'm not hoping for it, and I pray to God it doesn't happen. But
I'm prepared for it.
These reservists come from all walks of life in the civilian world. Sergeant Katie Brown of Bedford-Stuyvesant works for the New York City Health Department. Now she's in charge of the company motor pool, and she worries about her mother she's leaving behind.
So she's kind of upset about that.
Right.
Because I'm the only sibling here in New York. I have a sister in California and two in South Carolina. So I have to depend on my cousins to help her out.
Morale seems high on this first day of active duty as troops try to put the possible dangers out of their mind.
I'm not thinking about not coming back. I'm not thinking about going into a danger. As far as I'm concerned, this is a pleasure trip. I'll be coming back.
This Saturday morning, these troops ship out to Fort Dix, New Jersey to sharpen up their soldiering skills. And if they are in fact sent to the Mideast, they could find themselves in the Saudi desert in a little over 1 month from now. From Fort Totten, Queens, Jeff Weiser, Fox News, Channel 5.
And the man accused of killing Rabbi Meir Kahane was in court, a man who was born in Egypt, El Sayed Nosser. He pleaded not guilty. Lucky for him, he was inside. Several dozen of Kahane's supporters were outside the courthouse calling for revenge. One of their signs read, "Hand Nasser over. We'll take care of him." He's being held without bail. And the teenager accused of murdering Brian Watkins pleaded not guilty. Yul Gary Morales. Prosecutors say he is the one who actually stabbed Brian. 7 of his friends are also charged in that murder. Brian was visiting here with his family from Utah. He was killed in the subway, trying to protect his mother from a robbery.
It was a day of explosive testimony at the latest Bensonhurst trial. Gina Feliciano, the Bensonhurst woman who had a birthday party the night Yusef Hawkins was murdered, was in a bad mood on the way to court.
Gina, do you have anything to say?
She has nothing to say.
On the stand, Feliciano testified that defendants James Bettino and Joseph Serrano had guns the night of the murder. And she broke down after defense attorneys accused her of taking drugs before taking the stand. Outside, one of them called her a liar.
I think not only that she is lying, but that the district attorney knows that she is lying. They know that she has not told the truth in the past about this, that she has admitted to them that she's lying, that they are putting her on the witness stand because they have no choice.
The defendants face 25 years to life in prison if convicted of murder.
Well, coming up next, Jackie Mason is hitting the ceiling over his love child.
And we will be going over to the Upper West Side to watch Bart Simpson get blown up and all the rest of the Macy's balloons when we come back.
Thanksgiving is a time for delicious food.
Cranberry sauce a la Bart.
And warm family gatherings.
Ding dong, here comes the cavalry.
Oh, nothing can ruin this holiday at The Simpsons.
Homer, shouldn't you go pick up Grandpa?
Halftime, Marge, halftime. Well, almost nothing.
All
right, Bart, go to your room, now.
Okay, I'll take some white meat and stuffing to go and send up the pumpkin pie in about 20 minutes.
The Simpsons, Thursday at 8 on Fox 5.
Smart businesses everywhere are discovering the post office. For dependable service and true value, there's Priority Mail with delivery in 2 days for $2.40. To keep dollars flowing and help the bottom line, there's Express Mail with delivery guaranteed next morning for just $8.75. For speed, reliability, and overall value, no one delivers for growing businesses like your post office.
Grand Union wants to give your Thanksgiving budget a break with this fabulous free turkey offer, plus great savings on holiday fixings and terrific Red Dot specials like these. Folgers bag coffee, $1.79 with coupon. Ken's Steakhouse salad dressing, 8-ounce bottle, 69 cents. Bumblebee chunk light tuna, 6.5-ounce can, 68 cents. And Keebler Deluxe Graham cookies, $1.29. Red Dot specials and a free holiday turkey offer.
Low prices at Grand Union.
Oil changes, brake service, tune-ups. Leasing a car may not be as easy on your checkbook as you think. Unless you lease an Audi, then we pay for all that, which leaves your checkbook free for other things.
Eternity. Calvin Klein. Eternity.
Now your gift with any $35 Eternity purchase at A&S.
Funny thing happened to Jackie Mason on his way to the theater tonight. He got serious. It had to do with his 4-year-old daughter, Sheba. He hit the ceiling when he saw her mother using her in ads. Rosanna Scotto reports.
Wednesday morning, as Jackie Mason flipped through Variety for the latest entertainment news, he was not entertained to see Sheba Mason's smiling face. She was pictured in an ad saying, "My daddy, Jackie Mason, is intriguing. That's why Mommy wrote a hit musical comedy about their 10-year love affair." Sheba's mother, Ginger Ryder, has been touring the Florida circuit with her show, Oh, Jackie O, trying to find backers.
If I only knew then what I know now.
It is hard to imagine a lower or more despicable spectacle than the mother exploiting a child for her own career and financial gain. I find it sickening, and I refuse to be drawn into the psychodramas that she is creating.
This is not the first time Mason has made news with Ryder. 2 years ago, the former belly dancer took him to court, forcing him to take blood tests to establish little Sheba was no black sheep.
How do you do? How do you do?
The court ruled Jackie was the father. He now pays $2,000 a month in child support payments and says Ginger should not be using their child to boost her own career.
I'm not reveling in this situation, and I don't find any comedy in it. It's a pathetic story of a pathetic girl who is trying to advance herself in her career at my expense.
Jackie Mason has retained powerhouse attorney Raul Felder to look into whether Ryder is using child support payments to pay for ads in Variety and her show. But Mason refused to say whether he had plans to visit little Sheba. Her mother says he hasn't in the past. In Manhattan, Rosanna Scotto, Fox News, Channel 5.
The Miss America pageant forced out the man who once ran the local Miss Texas pageant. Don Magnus, he reportedly called contestants sluts and made other lewd remarks to them. The pageant's national director threatened that the next Miss Texas would not be able to compete for Miss America if Magnus did not resign from the board of directors. Magnus called it blackmail, but did step down.
Well, about 80 million people will be watching the Macy's parade on television, but there is another holiday tradition that a lot of New Yorkers get to see in person right now. They call it Inflation Eve. Penny Crone's on the Upper West Side with more. Penny.
John, 13 giant balloons have been blown up. Behind me, you see Bart Simpson's hand. In a minute, Bruno's going to pull out, and you're going to see all of Bart Simpson. As you just said, it is a holiday tradition. It's an exciting time. There are lots and lots of people here, and they're saying that life is totally a blast. No, this isn't Bart Simpson, but he is one of the dozens of people behind this year's newest addition to the parade. Cowabunga dude. Bart got blown up leg by leg, hair by hair, and is he ever big? His grin is 13 feet wide, ear to ear. His eyes are 6 feet in diameter, and he'll be riding on a 38-foot skateboard. Would you like to take him home with you?
Yeah, well, he wouldn't fit in my house.
You'd have to build a bigger house, huh?
Yes.
What would you feed him tonight for dinner if you could bring him home?
Macaroni and cheese.
Who's your favorite?
Bart Simpson.
Why?
Because he's funny.
What would you give him for dinner tonight if you could feed him dinner?
Pizza.
But the Ninja Turtles would want those.
Oh. Well, then spaghetti.
How many people tell you you look like Bart Simpson?
Not many.
I think you do. You say have a cow man?
Don't have a cow man.
And here's Kermit. He's coming back for another year in the Thanksgiving Day parade. As you can see, it's not an easy job. It takes a lot of time, but it's clearly a lot of fun. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is Laura Pinsley. She's going to be at the parade tomorrow along with thousands and thousands of other little people who enjoy seeing the floats and just enjoying the 64th annual Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. I hope you're there. It starts at 77th Street on the west side and goes all the way down to Macy's. Do you have anything to say? I guess she's saying happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Reporting live from Inflation Central, Penny Crone, Fox News. Why are you looking at me like that? Channel 5. Now back to the studio.
I think it all left her speechless, huh? Thank you, Penny.
She caught on to Penny already, didn't she?
Really. And you can get a good look at the balloons when all of them are blown up tomorrow morning on Good Day New York. Last Thanksgiving, Dick Oliver got NBC's Deborah Norville to say hello to Fox viewers. In fact, she said the magic words, Good Day New York. NBC attorneys were not too happy that it looked like Norville was promoting a rival show. So you may not be seeing that tomorrow, but the staff promises plenty of fun.
Jim, what are you going to do tomorrow?
Well, you heard of Guns N' Roses?
Uh-huh.
We're going to have turkey and roses and a little bit of chocolate thrown in. I've said too much already.
Yummy. And Good Day New York can be seen tomorrow morning from 7 to 9 o'clock right here on Fox 5.
So NBC lost its sense of humor, huh? Come on, like, just because we're beating their pants off, you'd think they still would keep a sense of humor. All right, coming up next, Latinos get to tell their complaints directly to the police commissioner in a neighborhood of Brooklyn.
And why Fox 5's Larry Hoff looks so foolish, so you will not even think of drinking and driving.
During the holidays, some of the most together women begin to unravel, rip apart at the seams, even fold under pressure, especially when they receive a gift of gold jewelry. And now is your golden opportunity to treat a special woman on your list to the gift you know she'll love. With so many styles available, there's one bound to make even the most unflappable woman crumple. Golden opportunities. Available at Macy's.
If it's out there, it's in here. The 9X Yellow Pages. Why would anyone need another?
I didn't know what to get anyone for the holidays. Then it hit me. I can make everyone happy with Blockbuster gift certificates. They can use them to get all kinds of great movies.
From the director of Die Hard, give this man a chance.
My orders are specific. Battle stations.
The Hunt for Red October from Paramount Home Video, rated PG.
Give the gift of entertainment.
This portion of the news is brought to you by your Tri-State Mercedes-Benz dealers like no other dealers in the world.
Sunny skies and zero chance of rain through Sunday.
Good news. There's no snow in our forecast today.
Mercedes-Benz presents 4MATIC. Outwitting the weather and the road with the most advanced all-wheel drive system ever put in a car. 4MATIC. It may just obsolete other all-wheel drive systems. Not to mention weather forecasts.
Top aide to Mayor Dinkins got mugged tonight. Leslie Weiss, she is the Director of Community Affairs for the city. He was getting out of his car on 109th Street in Manhattan when 5 men with a gun held him up. They took the only valuable thing he had, a ring. Officers managed, though, to chase down 2 of the suspects, and they got his ring back. Police Commissioner Brown thinks that one of the ways to try to help save our city is what he calls community policing, putting a cop on the beat, like the old days, a cop who knows the neighborhood. And the top cop was out on one beat, personally getting both sides of an issue that is tearing apart a neighborhood in Brooklyn. Accusations that the police are favoring one group over another. Lynn White reports.
With Latino leaders at his side, Police Commissioner Lee Brown took a walking tour of the Williamsburg section of Brooklyn. He was trying to feed a community starving for answers, a community where some believe more and more that the Hasidim here are given preferential treatment by the police at the expense of all others.
I want to know, what about the unwritten policy?
It is the unwritten policy of the police department that drove this man, police officer Hector Arisa, to blow the whistle on what he called injustice. Arisa claims that summonses are voided for some arrested Hasidim, and as a part of the 90th precinct policy, the Hasidim here are protected from the law while Latinos are targeted. The cries of injustice in and around the 90th precinct don't just end here. There are other police officers who have come forward to say that what happens in the 90 happens in other precincts in Brooklyn where the Hasidim live. This former cop, who didn't want his face shown or voice heard for fear of reprisals, worked in both the 71st and 66th precincts. He says the favored treatment given to the Hasidim goes far beyond the 90th precinct.
Going back about 10, 12 years ago, an Hasidic woman was raped in Crown Heights, the 71st precinct. There were about an additional 100 cops sent in for about a month. If she was black, it would never even exist.
We exist to ensure equal treatment for everybody, regardless. That's not up for debate.
Because the policy is not up for debate, the police commissioner made it clear that anyone with a complaint about preferential treatment would have a direct pipeline to his office. As for the original whistleblower, Officer Arisa,
Certainly there'll be no reprisals, there'll be no punishment for bringing that to our attention.
Still, many fear as far as the Hasidim and preferential treatment is concerned in Brooklyn, the policy may just continue to be unequal under the law.
I think it'll just have a little bit of camera, a little media, and this and that, but that's about it.
Lynn White, Fox News, Channel 5.
A new report says big oil has not been making big profits from the Persian Gulf crisis. The Energy Department says prices have jumped at the pump since the Iraqi invasion, but earnings from refining, marketing, and the chemical business are way down. So U.S. oil company profits have risen just 1.7% since the beginning of the crisis.
Those that were not engaged in retailing were the companies that did the best. Those that were heavy retailers, those that had to buy a lot of their own crude or a lot of their own product, were the companies that did the worst.
The report concludes that oil companies have showed restraint in not passing price hikes onto we consumers.
Not much of a day on Wall Street. There rarely is before a big holiday. The Dow did manage to close up a little more than 9 points, but there were a few more losing stocks than winners on the big board. The price of a share, though, was up a nickel. A down day, though, on the Amex. The price of a share there was down a penny. And the index there was down about half a point.
And now just a reminder, because of the holiday, federal, state, and city offices will be closed tomorrow. Banks will also be closed, and there is no mail delivery. Buses and subways will be on a holiday schedule, and Sunday parking rules go into effect.
All right, now there are going to be a lot of parties, of course, from now on until New Year's, and a lot of drinking. And too many people are going to try to drive and drink when they shouldn't be. Now, just to show you how dangerous this is, the police in Nassau County put Larry Hoff of Good Day, New York, behind the wheel after he had a few screwdrivers. He was only a little bit over the legal limit, but he had all kinds of trouble staying on the course. He was only going 22 miles an hour. Look how easy it is to mess things up.
How'd I do, Bob? Well, obviously, I'm tanked.
Yeah.
I should not be behind the wheel of this
We're going to
car.
make sure you get a ride home.
Tony DeBerry is going to bring him over. Tony over is going to be...
Sounds funny, doesn't it? But it's not. By the time Larry wasn't making much sense at all. And it makes no sense at all for you to drink and drive. All right, still ahead, the ancient city that was buried out in California.
A hiker who is blind shows what you can do with determination and companionship. And then Steve Powers with an unusual way of carving up the old turkey.
And Robin says if there's a recession, the people in Hollywood sure don't know about it.
Just up to our neck in terrace again, John.
What new sport utility vehicle's been named 4x4 of the year? What new sport utility already outsells Jeep Cherokee and Chevy Blazer? See for yourself. What new 5-passenger sport utility has the largest interior and a more powerful engine than Jeep Cherokee? See for yourself. It's the new Ford Explorer. And right now, save up to $1,300 on air, AM/FM stereo, speed control, and more. That's a loaded Explorer for over $1,000 less than Cherokee. See your tri-state quality Ford dealer.
See for yourself. It's Alexander's Thanksgiving sale with 20 to 60% savings store-wide. Great buys on ladies' polyfill jackets. Save 50% on beaver and mink coats. Up to 48% off on ladies' sportswear. 1/3 off elegant holiday sportswear. Save up to 60% on shirts, sweaters, slacks, and jeans. 50% off gemstone jewelry plus 10% bonus. Visions cookware just $44.99. Ladies' wool blend coats just $69.99. Men's suits and overcoats buy 2 and save. Don't miss 20 to 60% store-wide savings at Alexander's Thanksgiving sale.
With the only sleeper seats and 15 more inches of legroom than any other business class to London, Virgin Atlantic's upper class is truly the airline for giants of the business world. Virgin Atlantic Airways, the entertainment capital of the sky.
Surprise! Quaker Oat Squares. You're gonna love them from square one. Love that crunch.
Love the toasty taste. Love the touch of brown sugar. Surprise! Quaker Oat Squares. You're gonna love them. From square one.
If I clean my room too fast, I get other stuff to do, like take out the garbage. Ugh. Parents are never satisfied. So I just take my time. I might move this car 6 times before I'm done. Look, the only way to satisfy parents is to send them to an Acura dealer.
Acura for 1991. All the satisfaction you've been looking for from your tri-state Acura dealers.
Bill Irwin's in the record books. He is the first blind man to walk every inch of the 2,100 miles of the Appalachian Trail from Georgia to Maine. He finished up this morning in Maine with some of his friends there, but he thanked his biggest friend, God, and he got down and prayed. Maureen O'Boyle profiles this remarkable man.
Everyone is heading home for Thanksgiving, and Bill Irwin is no exception. After months of hiking the 2,167-mile Appalachian Trail, he completed his odyssey in time for the holiday. What makes Bill and his long march through America's most spectacular wilderness so special, so courageous, is that Bill is blind. His only companion, his seeing eye dog, Orient.
The reason for doing it, it's a Christian witness mission.
Bill Irwin has been blind for 22 of his 50 years. He has also fought a successful battle against alcoholism.
I don't see myself as heroic. I see myself as just a person that's trying to do what God wants me to do, and all I have to do is just get up every morning and do it.
A current affair was with Bill for part of his journey, a journey that began in Georgia last March and ended today in Maine. Something that stood out in sharp relief was that despite his blindness, Bill sees some things more profoundly than many of us sighted people. Thanksgiving this year has a special meaning, and perhaps a special meaning for all of us.
In California, archaeologists are digging up a city that looks a lot like ancient Egypt, but it's really from the backlots of Hollywood. It's a set that director Cecil B. DeMille built for his silent movie, The Ten Commandments, back in 1923. Instead of destroying it, he had it buried in sand dunes in Santa Barbara County, and we hear it's almost completely intact.
Well, you know, in every family there is one person in charge of carving up the Thanksgiving turkey. If you've never done it, you probably think it's easy, but it's really not. Steve Powers, though, found a couple of new ways to slice up a turkey. We have a warning for you, though. You may not want to try these at home.
If you remember, at our last Thanksgiving cooking class, I taught you how to make the turkey. Things did not come out exactly as we had planned. We had a bit of a shrinkage problem, but we think we have corrected that this year. Instead of this kind of turkey, we are using Sanforized turkeys. Now this year, guys, we're going to teach you how to carve the bird. We're going to show you two different techniques. If you have a radial arm saw, or if you have a particularly large bird, something like this is just perfect, okay? Or something like this. Just a...
Come on, please put this aside. That's all you need is a knife.
A regular knife.
A regular knife.
Right.
Put away the saw.
Forget the saw. Okay. Hey, Abe, where do we start?
Well, the first thing to do is take off the drumstick and the wing. I usually start with half of it. Leave the other one in case we don't use it. It stays on the turkey and remains. So first we carve a half a turkey. It's very easy. You find the joint, you just cut it through, and it comes off. 1, 2, 3.
All right.
The same thing with the wing. You make an incision here, another incision, and you find where the joint is, and off it comes.
What is this part?
This is the tush.
I usually throw that out, right?
Come on, that's the juiciest, best part of the turkey.
I'll try this next year. For those of you who aren't able to tape record this segment, I've prepared a turkey by the numbers. Just cut along the dotted line according to the numbers, and you start right there. Just look for numbered turkeys at your supermarket. Now, man, if this is too complicated for you, there's another way to handle the turkey carving, and that is reach for some cranberry sauce and say, "Darling, could you carve the turkey while I open the cranberry sauce?" Works every time. Excuse me. Where's the opener? Steve Powers, Fox News, Channel 5.
All right, coming up next, rock and roller Chuck Berry rolled out from under some pretty serious charges.
And the sky's the limit when it comes to the stars and their Hollywood salaries.
Who says lightning can't strike twice? Not your Toyota dealer. Since last month's great savings are back with even bigger deals. Like a fuel-efficient front-wheel drive Celica. High performance at a low price, starting at just $12,698. Wow, just $12,698. And there are great deals on all the great-looking, reliable new 91s. But hurry, even though lightning strikes twice. 3 strikes and you may be out of luck.
Hold out? No doubt. Out to knock about. Got to keep those hands warm. First you get your hands in these toasties. The little stretch glove with the grip. Rummin', tossin', tumblin', toasties. The little stretch glove with the grip. Big reception? No exception. Guys, watch that interception. Got something to get your hands on. First you get your hands in these toasties. The little stretch glove with the grip.
In the small town of Kahane, Mexico, a celebration is taking place. Out of hundreds of recipes, Roy Rogers has chosen theirs for Roy's Chicken Fajita Sub. Of course, there's one thing that could end their celebration a little early. The new Chicken Fajita Sub, only at Roy's.
I love you, Jimmy. I love you, Jimmy.
We love you too. That's why we've made it easier to own GMC's sport utility vehicle. Right now, you can get $1,000 cash back on 91 four-door Jimmys, $500 cash back on GMC Safaris, or financing as low as 7.9% on both models. Hurry into your New York, New Jersey GMC truck dealer today. This offer won't last long.
You know, for a while, it looked like Chuck Berry might be doing the jailhouse rock. But prosecutors dropped child abuse charges against him. He's agreed to serve 2 years unsupervised probation, though, for having marijuana. Chuck says now he can get back on the road and back into the recording studio now.
There were no child abuse charges. There were no evidence of child abuse charges. So I can play concerts.
The charges stem from a raid on Berry's farm last June. The police found pot and a videotape showing sex among underage children. But the investigators now say that tape was a phony. Coran?
And John, the soft economy has not hit Tinseltown. The sky is the limit when it comes to the stars and their salaries. Robin Carter has that story. Robin?
Well, you want to know what the color of money really looks like? Just ask Michael Jackson. The New York Times says Jackson is close to a new thriller deal with CBS Records that would be the most lucrative in pop history, raising his take much higher than the $18 million advance against royalties he now receives. But hey, with an estimated net worth of $100 million, Jackson, even without this deal, is already the highest paid performer in pop. And Michael Jackson isn't the only megastar making the mega millions. For a select group of Hollywood movie stars, payday has come to mean hitting pay dirt.
Tommy Gunn only fights in the ring.
My ring's outside.
And Sylvester Stallone got a record $25 million purse to step into the ring for Rocky V. Michael Douglas will get a reported $15 million paycheck when he starts shooting Basic Instinct.
Greed, for lack of a better word, is good.
And Eddie Murphy agrees with that. He is reportedly pushing for a pay raise from $9 million a movie to $18 million up front. Tom Cruise is estimated to have made $19 million this year alone.
Wait till they get a load of me.
Jack Nicholson, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Bruce Willis, and Kevin Costner are also among those mining Hollywood's newest gold rush.
It is a fast buck town. There's a lot of dough to be made.
I don't think it's anybody's business how much I make.
But Bruce got close to $8 million to Die Harder, several million to do the baby's voice in Look Who's Talking and Don't Look Now. But Bruce also got a hefty fee for his co-starring role in the upcoming Bonfire of the Vanities. Even Tom Selleck, who's only had one box office blockbuster, has been quoted as saying he's one of the highest paid actors in Hollywood.
I'm
I'm paid very well for movies. I also don't feel guilty for making a lot of money.
Oh, I hope I get $100 million down the line. Are you kidding me?
Well, he doesn't make that yet, but muscle man Arnold Schwarzenegger is now bench pressing a salary of $15 million a flick up front. That's more than Meryl Streep, who only gets $2 million. But Meryl's movies don't make $100 million at the box office.
You're worth anything that you can bring back twice as much.
But even Hollywood's mightiest money men do seem dazed by the skyrocketing salaries Sly Stallone was back in 1988 when he got a then unprecedented $20 million for Rambo 3.
I can't comprehend that. To me, it seems almost dreamlike. I mean, to me, I keep thinking about, do I have $11?
$11 plus about another $100 million. And according to Variety magazine, once an actor becomes a superstar, his salary can keep escalating despite the performance of his films. Different story, though, for the women in Hollywood who are still getting about 70% less than the men.
Thank you, Robin.
All right, Robin, still ahead. Nick says it's not going to rain on the parade tomorrow. And he has the forecast for the rest of the holiday weekend.
And then the amazing reports on the Final Four battling it out for the NIT title at the Garden.
Presenting the 1991 Dodge Spirit. It has a standard driver's airbag, 14 cubic feet of trunk space, available V6 power, and more interior room than Honda Accord. Yet a 91 Dodge Spirit can be yours, starting as low as $10,890 after cashback. And now, qualified dealers are getting as much as $1,000 cashback from the factory on Spirits. And that means you could get as much as $1,500 total savings. Welcome home to Spirit at your Dodge dealer.
Introducing the Espresso Mini from Krups. Just the right size to give you delicious espresso. 1 cup at a time, 2 cups at a time, or even 4 cups at a time. Then turn on the steam and watch deep, dark espresso become heavenly cappuccino, as tempting as this. Krups Espresso Mini. It's as simple as black or white.
At Macy's, we're a part of your life.
Tonight's weather report is brought to you by your New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut Lexus dealer. Test drive a Lexus today.
Just wait till your mother gets home.
The Lexus ES250. With so many luxury features, it's fun even driving it around the block 50 or 60 times. Come into your New York, New Jersey, Connecticut Lexus dealer. Drive it around the block.
All right, I made a promise. Help me keep it, Nick. No rain on the parade.
Oh, I love it when he does this because I can just nail him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I will come through for you.
Thank you, sir.
We have no rain coming in tomorrow during the day. At night, that's going to be a little bit of a different story, but hey, the day is really when you'll be out at the parade, you'll be traveling to Grandma's. You get the idea.
Then you travel home.
Then you travel home. Well, late at night will be the problem, so all the answers. Let's go and check out our high and low for the day. You can see that today was another close to the normal type temperature for this time of the year. 55 and 39 under beautifully clear skies pretty much the entire day. No precip. Again, we won't expect any for about another 24 hours. Well, go back 90 years and we had the record high of 74 degrees, and you go back even further than that to 1879 and it was as cold as 16 degrees. All right, here's our current readings in Central Park. Well, they're not there? All right, well, we'll just show you our map here, which has basically area temperatures covering the region too. 27 as well, kind of chilly there. And LaGuardia at 45 degrees now. We have Kennedy at 40, 36 at Bayville, mostly clear skies there, and 28 at Boy, this is... We'll be with you in just a second. Thank you, Regina. I tell you. No problem. All right, the satellite's into motion. Well, I put this microphone into motion on my tie here, and let's take a look at the picture because it really tells this whole story. We got high pressure building it across the East Coast. That's keeping it clear there we go, clear from New England right on down the eastern seaboard, but it's really fighting off those clouds as they move in from the west. So that's going to continue to help us keep the dry air here for about another 24 hours. But you can see that the clouds are present back through Illinois into Missouri, and they're causing some rain showers tonight from Michigan down into the northern parts of Arkansas. And eventually, these clouds will break through that fair weather regime and will be arriving in our area. But not tonight. Still clear. 50 was the high in Boston today, but look on the other side of this weather front, boy, it's into the 70s at Cincinnati and mild even to Chicago. Now tomorrow, the high starts to give way a little bit, but the rain stays in upstate New York into western Pennsylvania as we go on through the day, and again will arrive here sometime later on tomorrow evening. Then over the weekend that system goes away, but another one will form along the East Coast, and that may bring some rain here on Saturday, some snow inland, and then colder and drier weather on Sunday. All right, let's go and look at our forecast overnight. Chilly, 40 in town, 25 to 30 north and west. I'm going as fast as I can here. Tomorrow, clouds, it will be increasing, 59 for the high tomorrow, rain developing late. Let's go and check out the extended forecast, and you'll see that we have some pretty good news for part of the forecast, but still we have problems on Friday with rain showers in the morning. And then Saturday, well, again, some rain could be possible, cooler, 47. Dry day looks like it will be on Sunday, 44 degrees, and then Monday back to about 51 with some showers maybe late in the day. And that's our latest look at the weather.
Alrighty, thank you, Nick. The Amazing up next with sports.
That's right, he's got the Mets. They may be ready to add some speed to their lineup right after this.
Christmas at Treasure Island means trees, lights, and decorations. A fantasy of beautiful Christmas trees, all kinds and sizes. Just look at them all. And thousands of lights, wreaths, ornaments, dinnerware, candles, cards, and decorations for the whole house at low, low prices.
Christmas everywhere. Flower arrangements, kids' crafts department, picture frames and albums, wearable art, needlework kits, art supplies, fabulous music boxes, and more at Treasure Island. A most unusual store.
Toro, your new CCR Powerlight snow thrower reveals a total disregard for the small businessman. A snow thrower that weighs 36 pounds, it handles a foot of snow? What happened to fair trade? Free enterprise? Be assured, if you continue to sell the new CCR Powerlight snow thrower, you leave me no choice. You will be hearing from my mom.
See the yellow pages for your nearest Toro dealer. Tonight's sports report is brought to you by the growers of Blue Diamond almonds.
Think for a moment about what makes Blue Diamond almonds so nutritious and delicious. Maybe it's the warm California sunshine, the fresh Pacific air, the water that brings the blossoms that bring the almonds. Think about the fact that each Blue Diamond almond tree produces 52 cans of almonds every year. Exactly a can a week. Then think about your part in nature's plan. Eat a can a week. No more, no less.
All right, Amazing. Go get them.
John, before we get to tonight's action in basketball and hockey, this word from Richard Bry, Vince Coleman's agent. The Mets have made a very generous offer to Coleman. There's no further word. This came from the man who agents Vince Coleman. Obviously, the Mets have money now because there is no Darryl Strawberry. Get this, the Red Sox lost Mike Boddicker, one of their best pitchers, to Kansas City. Cincinnati lost Danny Jackson to the Cubs, but the Reds did sign Tom Browning. They re-signed him, actually, to a new contract. Now then, at the Garden tonight, a great college doubleheader. The first game pitted Arkansas against Duke, and in this game, Christian Laettner was just tremendous. He had 28 points, and he thoroughly outplayed Oliver Miller, who spent a great deal of time on the bench. The big guy did contribute 10. But Isaiah Morris came off the bench. This is he, with 2 of his 19 points, and Arkansas, a first-rate team, beat Duke 98-88. The second game is really hardly a contest. Arizona against Notre Dame, and Arizona, one of the very best teams in the business, had Chris Mills scored 19 points in the first half. They lead 45-27 over Notre Dame at the end of the first half of play. Let's go to pro basketball. Detroit playing Indiana when LaSalle Thompson hit this shot for 3 points. Indiana at the buzzer had tied our friends from Detroit. But in overtime, Isaiah with a three-pointer, 3 of his 32 points, and Detroit won it 108-100. Meantime, Houston coming off the win against the Knicks last night was in Boston. Kevin McHale just killed him. He scored 32 points. Hakeem was held at just 19 by Robert Parrish, and the final score, Boston 108 and Houston 95. Sacramento gave Philadelphia a tremendous battle in spite of the fact this is the popular number tonight. Barkley had 32 points, but it was all tied with 0.4 of a second remaining in the game. Rick Mahorn tipped the ball in to give Philadelphia a 101-99 win over Sacramento. You Ranger fans tonight, what a game. You know, Bernie Nichols hadn't scored in 13 games, and then in tonight's game, here came Nichols. 2-1 in favor of the Rangers. Back came Buffalo. They closed it to 4-3. Now watch this play by Darren Turcotte, a magnificent play. He scores to make it 5-3 Rangers. Would they win? In the next minute and 19 seconds, Buffalo got 2 goals. Dave Andrechek, who had a pair, scored that one to tie the game at 5, and so for the second game in a row, the Rangers have played a tie. The final again, 5-5. By the way, today on WFAN, I asked Digger Phelps whether Rocket Ishmael would play against Southern California. He's in town, of course, for the Dodge NIT, and Digger said he's making the trip, and he's better on one leg than anyone we've got on 2. And so later, the coach of the team, Mr. Holtz, said he thought he would play him, except not on returns. No returns of kickoffs or punts.
All right. I got a trivia question for you tonight, Amazing, from Julius Benin. He lives in North Belmore, New York. He wants you to name the U.S. tennis player, winner of U.S. National Singles Championship in 1912 and 1913, known as the California Comet.
I knew him well. I covered that. I thought you were going to give me the business with that, but no, Maurice McLaughlin is a precursor of Bill Tilden. He was the first guy with a great serve and volley, and then along came Tilden, and then Don Budge and Ellsworth Fines, and
that's it.
You're looking at me.
I am looking at you. All right. We want to say goodnight to you, and we want to ask you to please, if you're traveling, please, if you're driving, be careful. We want to see you right back here again tomorrow night, and the night after that, and the night after that. So drive carefully.
From all of us, happy Thanksgiving tomorrow.
That's right. Good night.
Good night.
The greatest Thanksgiving ever. Sisters who didn't know the other even existed, reunited with their mother after 40 years, the first supper, and our special Thanksgiving guest host, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Watch A Current Affair tomorrow at 7:30 on Fox 5, New York.
This year, find your gift at the place where giving beats everything. For Christmas, as always, nobody beats the Whiz.
The temperature never drops below Xerex. If you don't know that about antifreeze now, this is where you're likely to learn it. Because when your antifreeze fails, it usually fails here. When your car has been sitting idle, when it's very dark and very deserted and very cold. Oh, thank heavens, you did remember Xerex antifreeze. The temperature never drops below Xerex.
If I could afford a sports sedan, the road would belong to me. Bob, I'd have one of those multi-valve engines, independent suspension, and of course, a spoiler on the back. Yeah, if I could afford a sports sedan, life would be a cruise.
Oh, it's you, Bob.
Introducing the new Nissan Sentra SER, because rich guys shouldn't have all the fun.
A sale so big, it has to be held at the Meadowlands Convention Center, Friday through Sunday. Burlington Coat Factory comes to the Meadowlands Convention Center with 10,000 famous maker coats for ladies and men, 1,800 fine furs, thousands of leathers, and 5,000 men's famous maker suits, all 30 to 66% off, Friday and Saturday till 9, Sunday till 6. Burlington's Coat, Leather, and Fur Sale, Meadowlands Convention Center, Harmon Meadow, Secaucus, next to the theaters off Route 3.
You are watching Fox 5.